Hey everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me again for a Bible journaling process video. We're doing some mixed media today and we're going to have a lot of fun. So we're starting off by using glossy photo sheets. I have a lot of these because every time I buy new ink cartridges for my printer, I get a new pack. It just comes together. And we're going to be inking those up with some Distress Oxide inks. So I have picked a few different colors. This is Wilted Violet, Worn Lipstick, and Broken China. I'm going to end up not using the Cracked Pistachio, although you see it in the corner here. And I am just inking it onto a clear plastic sleeve for a notebook. And then I spritzed it with my spray bottle. And then I'm taking the glossy side of the photo paper and then just smushing it down. You can see how I did that. Now I'm wiping it up again. It really doesn't matter. You could use wax paper or something like that. You just want to protect your surface. And now you dry that. You can see this plastic sleeve. It's warping with the heat, but that's okay. I've got so many of these lying around. So you want to dry that with your heat tool and then do another layer. You could do as many as 2 or 3 layers of this. Now I learned how to do this from a video from Lindsay Decor. I'll have that linked up in the top right hand corner as well as in the description box below. There may be some other YouTube tutorials as well, but she's usually my go-to. We're on a team together, and so I just respect her and love her a lot. So anyway, we're going to do that again. I'm going to use some more of the pink and the blue this time, but I will add a little bit of that violet. These are just beautiful colors, and the Distress Oxide inks are so much fun. They're a mixture between pigment inks and dye-based inks, and they oxidize with water, so you're going to get an incredible effect. Now, I'm just going to wipe that up, and then we're going to dry that again. This is a messy process, so be prepared. We're going to dry this. It gets all over your fingers. Have some paper towels handy. And then I actually do stop this video so I can go wash my hands because I don't want to get it all over my Bible page. There's kind of a chalkiness to these oxide inks, a milkiness, if you will, and that's part of their beauty of them. So I'm drying this, and this is going to be all the inking that I'm going to do. This is going to have all the color. Now, in order for this to really shine, you're going to come in and buff it with a paper towel, and you'll see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to be using this to make letters and some flowers and tabs, just cutting out different pieces. Look at that. Isn't it so cool? Now the thing is, you really don't know what effect you're going to get, what it's going to end up looking like, and that's part of the magic of it. I love it. It looks marbly and it's just so pretty. It's gorgeous. This is fun. Have a lot of fun with this process if you try it out. So now I use my We Are Memory Keepers Evolution Advanced die cutting machine, and I have this alphanumeric die set from Tim Holtz, and then also I have a Write at Home, it's called Sweet Stitches set, and I'm cutting out the flowers from it. Now I'm going to go through my machine a couple of times because this photo paper is pretty thick. So you want to make sure, and what I like about using my magnetic mat for my machine here is that those dies don't wobble around, and you don't have to use washi tape to hold them in place. So you just punch these out. I end up using my pick, or actually some tweezers, to punch those out, but you can see how they're on there. It's not going to be any problem. I do it off screen because it takes a little bit of time, and this video is pretty long anyway because of all the stuff we're doing. But you can see, you just punch those out. Easy peasy. So I'm going to come back now. Now here is where I lost some footage. I don't know what happened, but I wanted to show you. I have those flowers, and I've already assembled 2 of them. And now I'm showing you how I wanted to assemble this 3rd flower. I've gotten some buttons for my stash that kind of match, and just some string. And I'm threading the buttons. I just kind of loop the string through a few times and then tie it off. Just very easy, very casual and fun looking. Over to the left, you can see the purple doily. That was a white doily, and I sponged it with the Wilted Violet Distress Oxide and my blending tool that is there on the right. And then you can also see where I sponged around my verse. I masked it with some washi tape and sponged around that. You'll see in a second. So I'm using glue dots here to adhere my button to the center of the flower, and then to adhere the leaves to the back of the flower. And these are really cool. I did try to vary up the colors so that they weren't all the same on the same flower, because on that sheet of mixed media, the photo paper that we had, there were various colors. So I tried to just mix that around. So now we're going to get to the page. And because I'm using Isaiah 61:3, which is the verse that talks about beauty from ashes, I wanted to give a gray splattering on the background here to represent the ashes. The verse says, "To all who mourn in Israel, he will give beauty for ashes, joy instead of mourning." Excuse me, praise instead of heaviness. So I wanted this page to be about beauty, but also to just have that gray kind of ashy look in the background. This is Shimmers. It is one of the Vibe sprays, I believe, and it's called Don't Rain on My Parade. I'll have all my products linked in the description box below, and you can check those out. I am not an affiliate for Shimmers, but they're just a lot of fun. I love the shimmery look to them and the versatility of them. I use my brayer to flatten out the page after I've dried it, because when you smush like that, it can get kind of warped. So you see how I sponged off the verse, and now I'm using that same blending tool just to ink around the edges of the page, just to give it a soft, finished, feathery look. And it helps because these Bible pages are so thin, it really helps to put something solid behind it when you pick it up, and that just gives you some backing, a backbone to it, if you will. So there we go. Now I'm going to play with this doily. Isn't that really cool how you can take a white doily and make it any color? You just sponge it with the Distress Oxide inks, and they blend so well. So now I've got my letters that spell out from ashes. I've got my flowers that I made from the various pieces that I cut out, and we're going to stamp the word beauty. So the products that I'm using here, the die cuts were from Sizzix, those are the letters, and then the flowers were a Write at Home die, and then called Sweet Stitches, and now this stamp set is a Write at Home stamp set called Brushstroke Alpha lowercase brushstroke alphabet. And so I'm going to be stamping that using my Wilted Violet ink. So this particular stamp set, it's cursive, it's a brush stroke, and it's really cool because you can combine the letters and make it look like it's that scripty, hand-lettered look. It's beautiful, and you just vary that. You put those letters down. Where there's a little bit where they don't come and match up quite exactly, then I'll just fix that with an aqua brush. It does help a little bit to practice first before you go into your Bible if you're really worried about it, but it's not that difficult. It really wasn't. So you just stamp that. I did it just to make sure that I would fit it all in the margin, because beauty, I wasn't quite sure if that would all fit. And now you can see with my aqua brush, I'm just filling in a little few spots that didn't completely match up all the way. So that's an easy way. Excuse me, just pick up the ink from the lid of the ink. You squish the lid to the pad. Now I'm going to begin adhering my letters, and I decided these are so small and thin that it would really be helpful to use my Xyron sticker maker. This is a handy tool. It's great for making tiny little pieces into stickers. It actually applies adhesive to the back, so you can see how I do it. The only thing you want to worry about is making sure they don't overlap when you put them in the machine. I was being frugal, and I tried to put 3 across, so you just have to be careful that they don't, as you're pulling it, kind of shift and move. So it's a handy tool. Mine's pink. Most of the ones that you see are purple, but I saw one that was pink, so I picked that up. All right, so I'm sticking these down. Beauty Bible mat to help me line them up. Beauty from Ashes, and I'm just shifting that over. Before I really place them down and stick them down hard, I just make sure that I have them lined up. And here's where I'm going to use my EK Success powder tool just to get rid of some of the stickiness that might be on there still from the Xyron machine. So that's a trick. And I'm outlining the letters just to make them pop out. They kind of blended into the background, and I really want them to pop out. So let's see what we're doing here. I'm underlining the verse. This is just a beautiful concept. Beauty from the ashes. You know, we are made from ashes. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You know, God formed Adam from the ground. And then because of the breath of life that he breathed in him, it gave him life. It gave us life. And so it makes something beautiful out of us. We are filthy rags. We are dirty from our sin and from our sinful state. But because of the beautiful gift of life from Jesus and the sacrifice of his on the cross, we are beautiful. We are beauty that come out of ashes. And, you know, it's a wonderful concept, too. When I'm going by, I grew up on a pine tree farm, and my father would periodically burn it so that new growth could come out. And it's like that. We are refined through the trials that we face, and that's how strength and beauty come through the trials that we face, through the struggles, the ashes, if you will, but even more so, the beauty comes from Christ because of the sacrifice that he made on our behalf. So I glued the doily down, and then I trimmed the edge there, and I'm going to use the top of it that I cut off up at the top. I did cut out a circle, a 1-inch circle, and then a tab also from the photo card. And I'm using some wordfetti. These are some cardstock sticker wordfetti from Illustrated Faith. And I glued those on there. This one says, "Because Jesus." I'm using some foam adhesive tape to make them pop up, all my different elements. And I'm adding some string down there just to give it some fiber, some media, I'm sorry, more to the mixed media, just some dimension and just that graphic element. I really do love all these textures, and that's what it provides. These letters are very glossy, so I wanted something to kind of ground it, and that's what it's helping to do, the string and the fiber there, and the doily as well. Just trimming off a little bit there. So up at the top it says God's glory, because the verse says that. He's given us beauty from ashes, and it's all for his glory. This is from, let's see, I just lost the verse. Isaiah 61, verse 3. And it continues, "Praise instead of heaviness, for God has planted them like strong and graceful oaks for his own glory." So I added some washi tape up there and at the bottom. I really wish I hadn't, but I couldn't take it off because it was going to tear the doily. So I kept it there, and then I added a bow at the top, added some journaling, and then there's my page. It was a little labor intensive, not too bad, but it was a lot of fun, and I love how it turned out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them there in the comment section. I will be checking those. Check out all the products that I used. I leave them in the description box. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much, and God bless. Bye-bye.